In this episode, we're making the 10-hour trek from Wuhan to Shanghai, China. Traveling the countryside in a car allowed me to experience my journey as a local. From McDonald's that serves Chinese food to squatty bathrooms. In majestic rest areas. And of course, violating rules in a communist country getting me banned on the internet. Whoops. All of this is getting us one day closer to the World Dog Show. Welcome to episode 5 of my I have no idea how many episodes I'm going to get out of the plethora of footage from this amazing trip to China series, so be sure to subscribe and ring that little bell so you don't miss one episode. After spending 3 days in Wuhan, we took the trek to Shanghai, being driven by Mr. Aban's friend Ashley and her boyfriend, who honestly made this journey so special for us. They were awesome and accommodating, kind enough to make our first stop on the trip to a McDonald's so Dolly and I could fill up on caffeine. And if you're going to travel this way in China, I will give you a few pieces of advice. 1. Seriously, the Chinese Siri never shuts up when giving directions. 进入鹦鹉大道，前方1.3公里靠左行驶，进入武圣路立交桥。You have to get used to it. For me, it was exhausting because your brain is constantly being alerted to conversations, but you have absolutely no idea what is being spoken. 2, for some reason, none of the American cables work in Chinese vehicles, so charging your phone is not going to work. Apple is universal, but the knockoff cables are not. Pick up some while you're here. When you're out of the bustling city, the Chinese countryside is absolutely stunning. Green for miles. Waterways and architecture in the distance is breathtaking. I've noticed in the cities there is construction everywhere, but once you're out of the city, nature's beauty is at its finest. The next interesting thing to note is their absolutely majestic rest areas. The buildings are multi-level and multifaceted with different shops for everyone. And yes, these amazing pieces of architecture have squatty toilets. Seriously, it's like an oxymoron. No. Can we talk about the toilet situation in China? First real culture shock would be going to the bath. Okay, so we have to bring our own toilet paper.
Yeah, that's why it's not surprising when we go everywhere we eating. After we finish eating, we have to grab
a paper towel, which is a paper box, which is you have to bring your own. Like it's basically a box of Kleenex.
Yeah, so that you can use to clean.
They use these for paper towels.
Thingy.
You clean your buttocks or your hoo-ha with
they not
the
have
tissue.
Available for you.
You have to squat.
Yeah, just squat.
There's no, you don't sit on it. You literally squat over it.
This is the original toilet. Toilet, like a sit down.
Yeah, and this is
like you sit like a squat.
I don't like squatting.
That's good. You exercise before you.
Working on my glutes. Yeah. Not.
You have to hold yourself.
A lot of liquid too.
Don't drunk and then go to your.
Oh my God! Could you imagine drinking and being drunk and squatting over? You fall into the hole. The hole. It's literally a hole in the floor.
If you not fall, the other thing will happen is your pee-pee gonna go all over your feet, on all your shoes.
We also had our first real chance to let the dogs get out and really stretch their legs big time. We used the vast parking areas to exercise the boys along with all of the other canines in the caravan. We may have had major language barriers, but everyone in our group spoke dog. This group of friends loves food. Every part of feasting on amazing delicacies. We were very fortunate to be a part of this adventure because some of the food that we tasted was beyond out of this world. I will never be able to eat American Chinese food again. We drove well into the night as we arrived at our private condo that was rented for all of us to live in for the next 4 days. We were all exhausted after the long drive and crashed like moments after we arrived. With the light of the new day also came the first icky rainy day of the trip. The condo was awesome, giving me a bird's eye view of the amazing area, but it was so wet and dreary that no one seemed to be motivated to do anything. Dolly and I got to have our own room for us and the dogs, and we got to live as one big happy family while eating, sleeping, and of course exploring Shanghai together. I was finally starting to catch up on my sleep, but now I had a new dilemma. You see, starting on the drive the day before, I had posted my very first Facebook post from China, but then all of a sudden I lost all of my internet connections. I assumed it was because we were in remote areas or something because I couldn't connect to anything. And if you know me, you know how I am when I don't have an internet connection. It is not a pleasant sight. So apparently you have to use some kind of VPN blocking maneuvers to get out from being blocked in a communist country. Imagine that. So I had to download this app and pay like $12.95, but I got my phone unlocked. Now supposedly I can unlock my computer as well. I don't know, but it's called ExpressVPN, and then it says I'm going through Hong Kong to be able to go through China to be able to actually get back on Facebook and Instagram and of course YouTube. So here's my next piece of advice. Get yourself a VPN software. The weather was making everyone lazy, and I don't think anyone really wanted to do anything. Homemade soup was the perfect way to inspire all of us to get a move on and head out to the Expo Center to set up for our grooming spot for the shows. Having been involved in the Meet the Breed event at the AKC National Championships for the last 6 years, I am pretty familiar with the mayhem of setting up an extremely large dog show event. When we arrived, the staff was still working very hard to put things into place. You could really see the sense of pride in those working the event, but complete confusion by everyone else. Granted, I couldn't understand a word that was spoken around me, but I could tell by the tone no one was quite sure what was going on. Where to go, where grooming was, how to get tickets, what to do next. And when we finally got into the building, that feeling of being lost was even more intense. I know what it's like to grab grooming space at a show in the States. I assumed that's what we were doing. Nothing is sectioned off. Individuals just grab and tape and claim whatever they want, however large they want, and into whatever aisleway is there. It doesn't matter if there's no space left. Apparently, you can just make your own. Mind-boggling. Once we made our very own grooming spot out of nowhere, we were heading back to the condo so that we could crash. We had a very busy day ahead of us. Dogs needed to be groomed, humans needed to sleep, but of course, not before we had yet another huge meal, because that's what we do here. And I officially earned my own personal fork. Brings me a fork. I walk in. In next week's episode, I shared the first 2 days of the World Dog Show series. What we've all been waiting for, right? Kelly and Ikaros make their debut in China. I met several dogs of China. I made some amazing medical finds at the expo.
He is my new best friend. You're not going to believe. Got me a scanner. Where's my hoo-ha juice?
And I finally got to be around people that speak English, with a small percentage being Caucasian. I get a break from representing and will be able to hold conversations in full sentences. Go me.